Today, it's another Fitter's Choice 2025 video. I'm here with Jake Montgomery. We're talking about hybrids today, specifically the two best hybrids of 2025 as chosen by our fitters. We're going to use TrackMan today to tell us why these two models are the best. Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald of Second Swing Golf here in the tour van, joined by Jake Montgomery, fitting manager at the Second Swing at Minneapolis store. Jake, hybrids today.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost a category. It's not getting lost in the shuffle per se, but there are so many options now to make that transition from irons to your 3-wood or 5-wood or whatever your longest wood is. We've seen the 7-wood rise, we've seen the utility irons, but hybrids are still a go-to option for so many players. And we've got the two best here today, so let's talk through them. But first of all, Fitter's Choice. What is the process on Fitter's Choice? How did you guys come up with these two? What was that like?
Yeah, so Fitter's Choice is a survey that was sent to us kind of late January, early February, after it gave us a bit of time to kind of get clubs in golfers' hands and see how they're reacting. We were asked to vote on a multitude of different categories for hybrids. These are kind of the two that came out on top. And as I told you before we started shooting, now here in May, this absolutely has held true throughout the year.
Yeah, that's right away before we even started off camera. You were like, yeah, this is exactly what I would have. I voted for. It's exactly what in the Bay. These are the top two if someone needs a hybrid. So first of all, I want to get your feedback on these two models. So one thing I'm noticing right away before diving in is a stock loft for hybrid for each of these is actually different by 2 degrees. So G440 there, GT2. What have you seen from these? Yeah,
so I mean, the loft's going to play a lot into this. If someone is looking for more height and more forgiveness in a long iron option, we're going G440. This probably makes up 60, 70% of my hybrid sales. They are just very easy to hit. They spin a lot. They go nice and high in the air. If we're looking for more ball speed, because a lot of times what happens is someone can hit their 5-iron pretty well, but the ball speed's 3 miles an hour faster than the 6-iron. So the gapping just gets really, really tight. If we're looking just to lengthen that ball or lengthen the distance of gap between each club, going into that GT2 has been a really good option. It's a very fast fairway wood. Makes sense with it being a little softer in its loft, or stronger, I should say. And then having the weight adjustment as well for a higher ball speed player, being able to kind of tune those around has been really, really helpful.
Yeah, that is worth noting. There's kind of some toe and heel weight slots here to adjust that as needed. I also wanted to first call out as well the remaining top five hybrids. We got QI35, GT3, and the Callaway Elite. Speaking of GT3, since Titleist does have 2 in the top 5 here, I wanted to just get your thoughts on the differences between GT2 and GT3, and maybe the different golfers that you'll go to for those.
So the GT3 is considered more of a tour hybrid, but I think they can be a little misleading at times. For a lot of players that struggle with a lot of spin in their hybrid, I'm actually putting them in a tour model because it's designed to help reduce that spin rate. It's not as if it's so unforgiving if you toe it or heel it a little bit, it's just be a horrible shot.
Right.
There's still plenty of forgiveness packed in there. It's just all about where the center of gravity is in the club. On the GT3, it's more forward, which helps launch it lower and spin it a little bit lower.
Right. And then the GT2 still, it still looks like a really good, clean, workable shape, but a little bit more forgiving. And I think Titleist has said this is the most forgiving hybrid they've ever made. So obviously you're seeing that in the fitting bay. So all right, we're going to hit these two today, G440, GT2. I know Jake has fit me for the shaft we've got. This is the Tensei 1K 85X hybrid shaft. So this will be a lot of fun. Let's see what TrackMan shows us.
Let's do it.
All right, starting with the Titleist GT2. They don't, same as the case with the Woods and driver, they haven't changed the look of how traditional that glossy black crown, and stays true with the hybrid. So nothing crazy to look at, nothing to distract you from anything. I will say the shape, I'm curious how it compares, but I feel like it is pretty compact for what they would consider a forgiving, or in their case, they've even said it's the most forgiving hybrid they've made. It seems pretty compact compared to what I've seen hybrids look like. So
yeah, Titleist is always going to be on the more compact side.
Yeah,
they know that players keep coming back to them for their look, so they're very apprehensive to change that.
Right.
I can't say I blame them either. They make a great looking club.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've packed a lot of forgiveness into that small frame.
Yeah, that's a good start there. So at this club, you're looking for height, looking for stopping power, and enough spin to make it a viable club
100%.
at this part of the bag. Otherwise, the discussion of a 7 wood comes up or something like that. Hit that
for
one
a player of your speed, I'm looking for around 3,800 to 4,000 spin.
Yeah,
I like that a
that
lot.
one was hit really well. That first one was maybe a tiny bit maybe hit a tiny bit behind the ball there to kind of hit high in the face.
Yep. Yeah, that landing angle at 46 degrees is
that was a pretty darn good swing there. Here's another good one. Just trying to hit that high fade.
Yep.
Interesting, the spin went up as high as it did there. I feel like I hit that one pretty good still. That was low on the face there, so.
Makes sense, the spin jumped up.
There's the punishment for that.
One more here.
That one's pretty good.
That was a great one. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
Seeing a little more spin out of this than I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of those shots, I really felt like the spin, that one and was it the third one? Yeah, both of the ones in the 4,000s I felt like were much higher spin than I would have anticipated there.
I'm curious where our average impact location was.
Okay.
So it looks like contact was a little bit heel side. Did you feel that at all?
I didn't really. I think, on the one, I for sure had the one that was like the fourth shot there. With that one definitely felt kind of low and heely. So that one makes sense. But I'm surprised to see these ones on the heel side. Because they all felt pretty good, I feel like. This is the one that was a little high in the face, Yep. But the other three, shots 2, 3, and 5, I really felt like they were hit solid.
I mean, it was doing what I want a hybrid to do. It was going nice and high. It had plenty of spin. It had great stopping power. Land angle over 46. I mean, that's going to be higher than most people's 7-iron land angle. So that's fantastic. Ball speed, I'm clocking an average at 144.
Yeah, about 144. And then, again, this is me too hitting, a cut swing on it right now. And I think, if I were to get more of the draw, things would change a little bit there on the numbers. But that's still plenty. I mean, I'm hitting, this is a shaft that's designed to have kind of low launch, low spin.
100%.
So it's generating still plenty of spin on those shots, plenty of launch and landing angle as well. So for me, in my swing right here, and I'm having no doubts about like if I were to put this in the bag and I need to hit a 240-yard shot, 235-yard shot into a green, stay there, it would do that for me.
100%. Curious to see how the G440 will compare.
Yeah, let's do it. So I had to double check, Jake. You don't have this in a, upright or closing the face setting.
Nope.
And it really looks closed to me. There's also, I can just see a bunch of loft. I mean, there's 2 degrees more loft on there. Plus, I think the white kind of, scoring lines definitely call it out even a little bit more.
Yeah.
So this is, it feels like I'm hitting like a 6 hybrid right now.
Yeah.
When it's still another 4 hybrid.
That is a reaction I get a lot from players, especially if I'm giving them a 5 hybrid. They're like, I've never seen anything that looks like this before.
Right.
And I mean, they do go high. Like you're seeing that loft on there. It's going to kick the ball pretty high, I'm assuming. I think that the more left bias that you're seeing can oftentimes be seeing more loft. It looks like it's just a little bit more shut.
Sure.
Just from a dress position, one is not inherently more draw biased than the other.
Right.
It's
just I think it's a visual trick that's being played right now, which we'll see if that messes me up subconsciously. But
definitely started more left.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. I also think the viewers are starting to see a little bit of maybe why I don't play a hybrid.
Yep.
Because I'm hitting these ball I'm hitting a lot of spin with this thing right now. All right, that was struck a lot better.
Yep.
See, that is a really good golf shot. It's just so high. On a
Yep.
calm day, that's a weapon of a shot. On a windy day, that could be problematic.
Players at your speed don't really need 4 hybrids. We
Right.
usually start kind of entering those in 3, maybe a 2, kind of depending on loft structure and gapping. But yeah, for a higher speed player, it's just going to go really high.
That one was one of those high face ones.
Okay. So
Okay.
maintained its spin.
Yeah, the spin didn't drop that low on that
No.
one.
And I mean, that's honestly why I sell so many of these.
Yeah.
Is that in this part of the bag for most players, it's peak height and spin is what we're chasing.
Yeah.
And it just has a lot of it.
Right.
That was flushed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about as straight as I can hit a golf shot right there. And this is good because that one's low in the face.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. All right.
I think we had a pretty even split as far as like, I think I had one for sure low heel
Yep.
with each. I had one kind of high face with each.
Mm-hmm.
But this is probably based on what the difference in loft is. This probably isn't that. This is pretty.
Not surprising.
Pretty what you would expect, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing about 800 RPMs more spin. It's launching a degree higher. Ball speed's down a hair. All of those things are going to be attributed to it having more loft. You know, you also dispersion was a little bit more left. You said it looked more close to you at address.
It did, yeah.
So you're turning it over a little bit more. I mean, all this is kind of checking out with what I expected. Landing went up another 3 degrees to 50. Peak height went up about 10 feet. We're at about 120.
Yeah.
Dynamic loft's about 1.5 degrees higher. I mean, it's all checking out to about what I expected to see. And like I said at the start of the video, if we're looking for peak height and spin, we're going G440. If we're looking for ball speed and distance, we're going GT2.
I mean, it's also fascinating how the face angle is 2 degrees different on average.
Yep.
So, and that, again, this could be a visual thing that my head's playing. It's like, oh, this is a closed club, the way it sets up. Maybe it's not. But that is definitely seeing, that's part of the difference in dispersion.
Yeah.
But to your point, I mean, I was getting more launch and I was getting more spin, and that's partly due to loss, but also I felt like that shot number 8 there was the one that I thought it was a little bit high on the face.
Yep.
And to see that still in the mid 4,000s for spin there is pretty encouraging to me. Because there are going to be times where, you know, someone hits it off the toe, or, you know, you get that contact that generates typically or decreases the spin.
Yep.
You still maintain enough here to get the, you know, the trajectory you're looking for, the carry distance you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Which is what I got here. So that one really impressed me about this test. So.
What felt different just coming off the face between the two?
I felt, I want to say this was softer, but kind of, I felt a little bit more pop, a little bit more explosiveness off the GT2.
Yeah.
In the actual, you know, feel and vibrations to them, not a ton different. Sound wasn't that different to me. Did you notice difference in sound?
They're not too far off. Ping has come a long way as far as sound engineering comes.
Yes.
They make a great sounding golf club these days.
Yeah. They definitely look different. I mean, on Ping, I talked already about the scoring lines, but there's also the, you know, the one big dot there in the middle, and then you've got kind of the carbon fly wrap that comes into play in the back side of the crown there.
Yep.
A lot more visually to look at than the GT2, but they both look great. I mean, actually, I'm surprised too. The shape is pretty similar. I thought the Ping would be a lot bigger, but it's also kind of, it's compact enough where I think, to your point, any player could play one. You know, if you're a higher swing speed and it's a 2 or 3 hybrid, or you're maybe medium or low swing speed and you have a 5, 6, 7 hybrid, whatever it is.
100%.
I think it's viable for everybody. So really good test here. I think this does show the differences between the two and how they can each be distinctively beneficial in the fitting bays for golfers. So
100%.
So golfers, if you need a hybrid, these are two of the best ones in 2025, Ping G440, Titleist GT2. Really good performance in the test here. Lots of consistency on the ball speed, also launch, height, spin, all the things that matter here. So Jake, thanks for swinging by and helping with the test today.
Thanks for having me.